Oh, I do for Zoom, apparently. I know I don't need it for the room, so we can all agree on that. Um, all right, so we are kickstarting 2026, the beginning of the year. I am going to open us in prayer, so if you'll bow your heads, please, and let's start the year off right. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I just want to thank you for this day. Lord, I'm incredibly grateful to be alongside of some of the best real estate partners in the Mid-South area. Lord, I pray that you will use this season to bless us. You will bear fruit for us, Lord, and I pray that you will help us to deliver that back into the communities in which we serve. Lord, I pray that your hand will be upon us this year. I pray that our agents will have health, prosperity, and wealth. Must think differently, show up differently, and offer value that is truly irreplaceable before we ever meet a client, during the transaction, and long after closing. And I know we're pulling up a chart here in just a minute, but I want to talk about the buckets of value. So if we're going to look at a timeline, I do have a chart. There is, and I know it's coming up, there are different parts of the real estate relationship. So number one, how are we going to get in relationship with the people that know, like, and trust us, right? Or new people that are going to know, like, and trust us. And then we're going to go to a point in time when they're going to want to transact, which then we become a fiduciary, not a functionary, which I believe the future of real estate is a fiduciary advisor, not a functionary advisor. And what I mean by that, it's our job to understand wealth, asset management, and understanding what the consumer does not have access to in this new world of AI. So how can we serve as a fiduciary and not a functionary? And then after they transact, how do we use the technology and the rapid rate of technology to maintain that relationship, right? And provide them with value. So what's really cool today, I'm going to introduce after this speech a consumer panel. I don't know if anybody has ever put a group of consumers together and asked them what they want to see out of a residential real estate agent and expert. So I'm going to have that panel come up in just a minute. But in terms of that, I believe that we have to, all of us, including seasoned agents, need to understand contracts and contract negotiations inside and out. For simple, currently right now, we need 50% of our agents earning six figures. Give me an applause for that. I'm sure that a lot of y'all in here would want six figures. And that has to do with what's written on the back of the wall. We cannot help our communities if we are not making money in this business. So the goal is to create six-figure earners, develop empire builders, and inspire community changers. I also want 75% of our agents owning properties and or investment properties. If we're going to sell the product, it's important that we go through the process ourselves. So what's ahead? We're going to continue more market conversations, more negotiation trainings, more skill set negotiation trainings and AI trainings on our Win the Morning every morning at 8:15. We'll continue doing daily conversation practice. Thank you so much, Tia, and Live Lead Generation, the Lances, and I believe we're also running that here at Ridge Lake as well every single day. Monthly listing audits. We're going to continue doing monthly listing audits. We're going to do weekly broker tours. So a lot of people have asked that we do weekly broker tours. So instead of doing lunch at our offices, this would be the same thing in Mississippi. We will disperse and go to the broker opens and eat at those locations. If you do not have a listing to hold open, why do you want to tour those properties? Competition, what else? Buyers.
But here's the thing. If we don't understand the inventory on the shelves, how are we going to sell the inventory? Right? So it is our job, even as seasoned agents. Anybody know how many properties you're supposed to preview a week? 10. And we're going to do so doing that together in broker tours. We'll run masterminds at every level. We've had a lot of people suggest pairing agent leaders who are one step ahead of the mastermind group to lead the mastermind so that you actually have a model to follow. For our top 5% volume earners, we've already met with Pinnacle Financial. We're going to do private sessions, financial advisors, CPAs, bankers, and attorneys to help you grow and protect your wealth. We'll also invite business owners to our team meetings to share real world success stories, what they're doing to sustain their business, scale their business in a challenging season. We're no longer just real estate agents, we're entrepreneurs, wealth advisors, and at the end of the day, we're homeowners and investors. Our secret to success is collaboration, which, for those that don't know Keller Williams, that is the heartbeat of our organization. My call to action today is if you don't show up, how can you collaborate? If you don't know the people sitting next to you or you're not getting involved, how can you collaborate? We've got to get to know one another. We've got to make sure that we're leaning in and we're helping each other. And we're doing that at the core focus of our culture. Gary reminds us that we often overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 5. There's an African proverb that states, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go together, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go farther, go together. That's the difference. And I hope you can see clearly that going together sets you up for sustainability, predictability, and insulation. I hope it's together that we build extraordinary and different. And we're going to do so doing the 5 key focuses that I'm going to review today. I don't know if we have those on the screen. So this is what I see is happening in the real estate market. And I know we have a bunch of different professionals that are in here today. But you're going to hear in the banking space, I believe it will happen in the real estate space, and a lot of large industry is called consolidation, right? Larry, I met with Pinnacle yesterday, and I believe Laura Hall has said 75% have consolidated at this point. That's the stat she threw out yesterday. All that to say is there's a large consolidation happening because of the rate of technology and AI. So insulation does matter, and having the resources for that matter. So we're going to talk about several different, what I call keys to the future. Number 1, I think everybody would agree that we need to embrace the power consumer. So who's been in the business for longer than 10 years? All right. Back in the day, did the consumer have access to the amount of information they have now? Okay. So how are we going to set ourselves up as a value add and as a wealth advisor? And that's why we have to start learning and talking differently than what the consumer is currently going to be able to access, right? So that's number 1. How can we future-proof our business model, i.e., what are the economics and revenue streams that we can do to make sure that you have a business model and economic model that will sustain 1, 3, and 5 years from now? You're going to craft a visionary brand. Talk a little bit further about this. Pay attention. And I coach agents all around the country, and one specifically has gotten involved in YouTube. And in his first year in real estate, he did 24 units in YouTube. Why is that? Why is the consumer going there? Because they have access to the information that they didn't have prior. They already know, like, and trust the guy. And then what happens? They're calling them up and saying, you're already the residential real estate expert. I want to do business with you. And this is why this is important. Not just because of AI, because if you're not being picked up on all these platforms, you're missing a huge opportunity. Redefining success beyond the transaction. I'm going to go back to that slide in just a minute because I want to talk a little bit about that. And then leveraging the digital frontier. How are you streamlining operations across all platforms? So we've got somebody that's going to talk in each bucket of this today. Can you go back? I know we didn't have this earlier. This is what I want y'all to understand. We can use tech to our advantage here. Right here, most of y'all are really good during the transaction. Would everybody agree? Why is that? It's right there. And let's be honest, it's where we get paid. I mean, let's just say it. But here's the deal. If we're really good right here, it is not about what we get paid. It's about how much we save the consumer in upfront cost. It's about how we get creative with financing to save the buyers. On the flip side, on the sellers, is how do we net them the most amount of money in the least amount of time and the least amount of hassle. And so if you can start putting that data in your presentations, then you can truly start serving as a wealth advisor and a fiduciary and not a functionary that's going to go unlock doors, right? Over here, in terms of building the relationship, I just said most platforms such as YouTube, social media channels, How can you become the residential real estate expert that you are not having to make cold calls? How are you putting yourself on a platform out there so that you can create this massive reach that people are knocking down the door to want to come to you? And I'm saying that without you having to, buy that relationship. And just to be clear, I'm going through this as well. So I have hired somebody to build a brand. I have a line item on my P&L now for brand because it is where it is headed. And then in terms of building upon the relationship, what are we doing as wealth advisor to provide home equity reports to make sure that we are reviewing those equity reports and it's automated and systematized? Is that a different language than what you're hearing most residential real estate agents talk about? What do most of them talk in terms of? Who do you know that's interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate? It's not about you. It never has been about you. It's about how do we help people make smart investments, net them more money, and build wealth in real estate. So instead of saying real estate agent, I would like y'all to change the language and you're a wealth advisor from here on out. And the asset is real estate. And that's why our goal is I want all of y'all owning some piece of property or multiple investment properties so that you can then talk in terms of investment and portfolios. Now let's get started with our first panel. We're going to do Embrace the Empowered Consumer. I've got two people in person, Mr. Larry Neal and Jonathan Beeman. If y'all will come up, please. And Miss Jonna Ellis, and also have Eric Alsobrook and Diamond Taylor. Can y'all welcome them? They're going to zoom into the call as well. And I'm going to ask them a few questions. If you like this format and you like this panel, we'll start doing this more often and bringing more people. But I think what's really cool about this, so JB, I just met you like, what, a week ago? Yeah. So JB's my new trainer. Where do you train at?
Infinity Fitness, right over here off in the same area. So right across from what's Oak Hall? Oak Hall, Evolve Bank Building. So we're over there. She's been doing good. So
and then Larry Neal, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah.
I know you and I work together. Our kids go to school together. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a father of three, live in High Point. Meredith was our agent through Sarah, and I'm a banker at Pinnacle Bank. So I primarily focus on commercial business.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I think we met because you were going through a leadership program, and you and I connected over coffee. What was
a random guy? New Memphis Leaders Fellows Program was a great organization. New Memphis, if y'all have ever heard of it. Especially, I was new to town 10 years ago, and got me introduced to the city without relying on my wife's family. So I made my own friends when I got here.
It's always good.
Yeah.
All right. I also have, I don't know if y'all can unmute yourself, Eric Alsobrook. Are you on the call?
Yep, I'm here.
Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what company you represent?
I am Eric Alsobrook. I'm a lifelong Memphian. I work at Poplar Title and Escrow, where I'm a title attorney.
Awesome. He's representing us today, or going to sit on our consumer panel. And then I also have Miss Diamond Taylor. Diamond, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi. Good morning, everyone. I am Diamond Taylor. I'm the founder of Friends and Company. We're a strategic advisory firm. Our discipline is marketing. So we help leaders in Memphis share their stories and turn their ideas into clarity. One of our key clients is the Greater Memphis Chamber, and Sarah and I have known each other for years. We became fast friends when I moved to Nashville, and we've kept in touch since we've been back, and all aligned on making Memphis greater, right, Sarah?
Love that, Diamond. I appreciate all your hard work and everything you do. Thank you. All right. And then I have Miss Juana Ellis, who also is a lifelong friend of my family's. She is now the director of middle school theater at Lausanne. Anna, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me? Am I muted or no? Can you
No,
hear me?
ma'am, I got you. I can hear
Yay!
you. You're in a room full of realtors right now.
I'm so
Congratulations.
I'm so excited. Hey, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I am a lifelong Memphian, Memphis girl, born and raised. And I know Sarah through teaching her children at Christ Methodist when I was at Christ Methodist, being the music teacher and theater teacher there. And now I'm at Lausanne, in charge of the middle school theater program here. And I'm just so excited to be a part of this panel, part of this discussion, and anything to make Memphis better and to make people come to Memphis. I am all in. So I'm so excited to be with y'all this afternoon. So thank you, Sarah, for having me.
And she does incredible camps around town. So if you
Yes.
have littles, this is a plug. She's amazing.
Yes,
Brings
yes.
everybody together. She's awesome.
Thank
you
you.
for sitting on the panel today. All right, I'm going to ask them 2 questions. The first question, I'll give it to one of y'all in person. What do you look for in a residential real estate expert when you are either purchasing or selling?
I'd like to know that it's not a hobby. Like, you're not trying to sell one house a year. I need you to know the neighborhood, the market, set expectations. I don't want you to tell me I'm going to sell a house for $500,000 if I'm not going to get close to 400,000. So, and I need you to bring comps to say, here's what's selling for in the market. Here's where I think we can get. So that's how I'll start. I got other points.
Full-time expert, and you want data. Yeah, JB.
Testing. Mic check 1 2 1 2. All right. First and foremost, integrity is everything. So that's what I look for. Number one, just getting to know that person, because this is like she said earlier, relationship that we're developing here, and possibly could be a long-term relationship. And I live by the rule of how you do anything is how you do everything. So I want to know what your game plan is coming up into it, because I'm in the market now to buy a house. So I want to know, hey, do you know the area? Are you really looking out for me? And then the biggest of all, naming the details that I may miss. That I never thought about it like that. So somebody who knows the game, like you said, not it being a hobby, because you truly care about not just trying to sell a house or buy a house, but sell a home, because that's eventually going to be a part of my family in the future, making memories. So yeah.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to go to you, Diamond. What do you look for in a residential real estate expert when you are selling or buying?
Honestly, I'm looking for expertise, someone that really knows the areas or the parts of town that I am looking to purchase in. One, how long this area has maintained its value over time, maybe what's new, what's upcoming in the area, something for me to look for, but also someone that's interested in building a long-term relationship. Because yes, you may be helping support me in this first transaction with a home, but again, if I'm interested in building wealth and becoming, owning multiple properties, how can you support me with that? Also, someone that has a lot of maybe social capital in the community that can get me other resources in tandem with the real estate transaction. So whether that's, someone that can say this is a good landscaper, just someone that has a network full of people with integrity. So when I have services that I need, I can build a trusted network with ease.
Thank you. That's great advice. Eric.
Reputation is, that kind of feeds on what a lot of people are saying about, integrity, who you are, what's your reputation, and your experience. Or if you don't have experience, do you have access to experience? Are you going to grind and build out your experience? I'm okay with you learning on the job as long as you're, hustling to do it. Uh, Knowledge of the market, physical local areas, neighborhoods, but also what the industry is doing at large, kind of understanding market trends, what negotiations are kind of current, things like that. And then mainly, I kind of have to like it. So really
You're saying some agents don't
simple.
like what they do? He's an attorney, and I'm going to reiterate this because I said this at the beginning. Understand the clauses in which are written forms, and then understand how you can use additional clauses to your advantage in negotiations. You need to start. You're not an attorney, but if you start to think like one, you will be highly skilled and able to negotiate on better behalf of your client. Thank you for that, Eric and Miss Jonna Ellis. Any other advice when you're selling or buying? What are you looking for in a residential real estate expert?
I'm looking for a person that's, passionate about the city, about what our city stands for and where our city is going. I'm also looking for a person that is keen about education, about schools, location. And I guess because I'm a teacher and and a mom, I'm always thinking about kids and students, but thinking about location, like, okay, is this a great location where you can send your kid to school? Or if not, maybe there's another opportunity for, a private school that you could send your child to. So I always think about that education. I do think about honesty and integrity and reputation, because it's like you're building like a community relationship with this person. It's like a long lasting marriage kind of. I feel like um you have to be very real, you have to be transparent, you have to have empathy, you have to have a connection, and that person has to have the utmost concern for your family and want the best for your family and to serve your family. And that is what the 901 is about serving others and being there for others. And I believe in those tangible relationships that are so deep and that are so important. So I like to say, what everybody else was saying, but I also like to add like the education piece to it also, that they're thinking about schools and location, as far as like where a kid could go to school based on that area.
And I would encourage everybody to set up tours. So find out who in the
Yes.
local schools is operating tours and have an
Hmm.
entire tour list sheet with connections there. Because at the end of the day, what you're saying is you're selling the lifestyle, not just a house.
Right, right.
So,
That's
and
right.
that you're selling the community, y'all. And so
Hmm.
how we represent the community online on our social platforms does matter. So,
That's right. Yeah.
all right. Next question. Outside, I talked about outside of the transaction. So you've done a deal with the agent, and what do you expect? Because usually NAR stats say about 8 to 10 years is when after you purchase, you'll stay in your house before you make your next move. So what would you deem as valuable coming from a residential real estate expert during that time? Larry, I'm starting with you.
Yeah. So I think during that time, one, I think post sale, just immediate. Like I remember this experience in Atlanta. Got to the house and there was piles of trash by the trash can. So excited about my first house, and then we go in and we got
Hmm.
overflowing trash cans.
Mm.
It's just an awful feeling.
Welcome
I
home.
mean, it's like it's like welcome home. I think connection to the resources, a handyman. My goodness, if you've never owned a home before, or if you own a home and you get handyman and few and far between, I learn how to fix things. As a real estate agent, you'll always have business. Um, and then I think keep an eye on rates and let folks know if they might want to look at refinancing. If you've sold a house in the past 2 years, you could have had interest rates as high as 7%. We're starting to come back down to 6, maybe sub 6 with special programs for some people. So I think understanding. I saw something on X Twitter yesterday talking about the meaningful difference in the size of mortgage a quarter point can mean. So I think that's where you need to have mortgage advisor partners, and also keep an eye yourself on what mortgage rates are doing, so you can say, "Hey, Sarah, we're down 50 basis points. This may save you $350 a month," which used to be a car payment.
Mm.
Now
Well,
it's
it
half.
starts to up. I mean,
Now it's half a car payment.
we
But
talk
yeah,
about buy downs and looking at rates and
yeah,
what that means over the life of a loan. And we're not the experts. We're not mortgage professionals. However, all we need to do is bring a mortgage professional to the call and let them explain that. Right. I love that, Larry. And y'all, there was a 1,000-watt survey. If you want to write it down, they asked consumers what was the most important thing to a client that just closed is how their house looked when they showed up. They wanted to know. I mean, some people, instead of doing closing gifts, they would have pizza and paper plates and drinks and whatnot, just something to welcome them home. Instead of us just saying,
Mm.
"All right, we're done. We're out. Here's keys."
Mm.
Have anything to add to that?
Everything he just said, but like I said, the resources is so key. So she said it earlier when I was listening. No, I'm not trying
You're
to work
listening
with you.
to me?
Yeah, I'm listening sometime. No, no. So I was listening to about just the networking part. I'm big on networking, even if it's going out to an event, meeting up with people, because you never know. Having a handyman, having a yard man, having
Mhm.
HVAC, whatever it is, that keeps it in your pocket and puts you ahead of a lot of other realtors, right? So having that, keeping like I said, showing up to the house, because I've had friends buy a house and the house has looked horrible, and I'm talking about like a plumbing leak. Yep, but that's here and there. But having that type of resources and just staying in contact with the people after the sale. because I truly believe in like just genuinely checking up on them. Hey, how you doing? How's the family doing? What's new? Just really keeping that connection there, because it shows that you really care, not just about a sale, but you care about that person and their family going forward.
So you want them to actually pick up the phone and call you and check in.
Well, they
Is that what
probably
you're saying?
would, because I
'Cause
talk.
we'll do that every
so-
quarter now.
Oh yeah.
that You just said
Oh,
that.
oh, you are.
Yeah, of
Oh
course.
well, sorry y'all. Wasn't me. But I think it's good because
Take it.
like just quick story from coaching, and I've had like used to coach at Orange Theory, and I had a client come up, and I think one of them, her father passed, and then the other father was having surgery. So it was about months later. I just asked about it, and that the look in their eyes, just be like, wow, you remember that, means a lot. So pay attention to important life milestones that they're going about. That just captures the heart, and it shows what type of person you are.
Love that. Who else online? Do y'all have anything else to add to that? And I know we've got another speaker, but I want to make sure. Do y'all have anything else that you would like to see added as a value add from a realtor after you close?
I think for me, I love a relocation guide, and I don't think realtors use it, but I know a lot of corporate companies use it. And so it would be really nice, especially if you're moving from downtown to East Memphis. Like, what are the cool bars in this area? You know, again, also including the handyman, the housekeeper, you know, all of those recommendations. But that could be a really cool value add when someone moves in, you know, in addition to the wine, the candle, you know, the post transaction purchase. And then also maybe a twice a year kind of phone call follow up. But then also, hey, your home has increased in value. This has been the appraisal this year, just different things like that.
Yeah, I love that advice. I think I know we have a reload packet. I don't have it on video. So if I'm going to take it to the next step, I need to get to YouTube and put that all on video, because that's people can start to watch and know me and get to know me and then want to do business with me. I love that. And y'all could get access to that at your local chambers. They have access to all of that information. All right, who else? Anybody else before we wrap up that we haven't added?
I would just like for them to be able to help me sort out any package that shows up at my house that belongs to the prior owner. I would like for them to help me handle that.
Forward in the mail.
Yeah, that'd be
We
great.
deal with that a lot. I've gotten calls. A lot of us will run packages to and from. So, all right. Well, hey, everybody that was sitting on the panel today, can y'all give them a round of applause for coming and taking their time to do so? Obviously, we have all of their companies that they represent up here. So make sure that you get and take down their names. I know they would love to see you and do business with you. So thank y'all again. I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Is Teresa on? Do you know? All right, we just did the consumer panel. Now we're going to go to crafting a visionary brand with Miss Teresa Flood. If you do not follow her online, you want to go ahead and follow her. She started a podcast called The Upside, where she talks leadership, life lessons, and everything brand. And she is a powerhouse team leader out of Dallas Preston Road. They have over, I think, 650 agents and growing. Teresa, are you on the call?
I am here. Hi, Sarah. Thank you for that awesome intro.
How many agents do you have now? Because I said 650. So
well, we're working towards 650. We're shy of 600 right now, but we are close. So yes.
I believe in you. 650 in 2026.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, thanks for having me on. Do you want me to just take it away and talk for a couple minutes on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So, over the last year, really almost a year and a half now, I've gone on such an incredible journey with crafting a visionary brand. And I know that Colette has been to your market center some. If you have the opportunity to get with her on her brand in a day class and follow what she is doing for the Go Network, I mean, we are so incredibly blessed. But it started when I heard Rory Vaden with Brand Builders speak at Family Reunion. And understand, I've been a team leader since 2013. I've had a Facebook account and a Facebook account that I used sort of, and an Instagram account that I barely touched. And I knew that I needed to start creating influence outside the four walls of my market center. Obviously, my job as a team leader is to attract talent to the market center. And we are a top recruiting office, and yet I wasn't doing it by attraction through a brand. And I knew there was a huge opportunity to really take my reputation inside the four walls and get it outside the four walls. So, heard Rory Vaden, I'm going to encourage you to get the book Wealthy and Well Known. If you would like to go on a journey for crafting your visionary brand, that is a great place to start. He is phenomenal, and it will take you through a lot of self-discovery. So read the book Wealthy and Well Known. Started working with Colette a little over a year ago, and the whole process of really just defining who my ideal target audience is, what am I passionate about sharing with the world, what is that message, what does that brand need to look like. I didn't go into it intending to start a podcast. That's what came out of it in the end as a just part of the platform. But it has been such a journey. So I launched the Upside podcast. I'm about to hit a year. I think it'll be maybe, I can't remember the exact date, but we'll hit a year basically in the next week or so. I drop an episode every single week, but what's been the most incredible part about the whole process is the personal growth and development. And so I know I'm probably talking to a mixed group here. Some of you maybe are already pretty well along in the journey of your personal brand, and it's just about refining it and taking it to the next level. Some of you may be regular posters, let's say on social media, but you don't have a clearly defined brand. And then some of you might be like me, where you're really almost anti-social media and video, don't really want to tap your toes in that. And what I will just tell you is, number one, get over yourself. Get over yourself. There is so much opportunity when we don't operate in fear, when we are willing to put ourselves out there, when we quit caring about what everybody thinks and get beyond our comfort zone, no matter what that is. It is life-changing, Memphis. It is life-changing. And so I've created this just amazing growth journey that I have stepped into over the last year. And it's been so fun. It's been so fun. And it's created more opportunities to speak outside of my market center, even in the local real estate community. I've hired some amazing producers that have come on board that I believe would not have done that had we not connected kind of through the crafting of the brand. So I just want to encourage you, wherever you're at in the process, go on a journey of crafting your brand. It will be so refueling. If you're feeling a little burned out, a little unsure of kind of what's next for you in your business, this is an answer for you. You're going to do a lot of self-reflection. It will be energizing because it's going to be about what you're great at, what you're passionate about, and just putting that out there to the world. So don't let fear hold you back. Don't be intimidated by it. You take just one step at a time and go on the journey. And it will change. First and foremost, it will change you. And secondly, you're going to see the results show up massively in your business.
Thank you, Teresa. Hey, y'all, one thing that she's saying from the podcast, and this is exactly what I said from the guy that's doing YouTube. Instead of cold calling, you no longer have to cold call because your brand is doing the heavy lifting.
Yes.
And they're coming to you because they already know, like, and trust you. And so they're already wanting to do business directly with you, which is this a huge key piece of it. You can continue doing it the old way and button your head against the wall, or you can reinvent yourself and go towards what an agent of the future is going to be doing. And I would encourage y'all to all look at that. So Teresa, thank you for that. Colette is who I hired. Roy Vaden is the one that's speaking at Go Launch, the book that she just referenced. You still have time if you want to go. I'll be there on Friday in Dallas. But he is incredible, and what him and his wife have done, they are the ones that have developed Ed Milet and some of the big speakers. So they clearly see that as an impact and importance going in the future. So Teresa, thank you for that. I'm going to ask Lauren, you can just stand up if that's okay with you. I'm going to hit on leveraging the digital frontier. And I would love for you, because this, I think, is an offshoot of what we're already talking about. Y'all, this is Lauren Yoakum. She's been in the business for what, 12 months?
Just a little over. So July will be 2 years. So just a year and a half.
What'd you do prior?
So I was in medical sales for almost 20 years. And then I built a business. It was a social media marketing business where I sold makeup and skincare and had a pretty large team doing that. So one of the things with that was that I had to put myself out there on social media, which I am kind of an introvert, and had to learn to just like Teresa was saying, it was one of those things where I had to just rip the Band-Aid off and understand there's so much potential in the power of social media. And storytelling is such a big part of that. So I decided to build my business that way. And then when I left that company and came to start real estate, I decided that there was a lot of potential to, kind of leverage myself again through social media and storytelling and real estate, because so much of this is relationships, what we do every day. And it kind of ties in nicely on social media because you have the marketing piece and you have the relationship piece, and you can kind of blend that together. But a lot of what I like to do is just to really, my sphere is my biggest area of where I work. Every listing I've had this year or last year, which is so weird to say, and then one that I am going and taking pictures and videos for today, they have all been from my sphere of influence. So I have people on my social media that are in my sphere, also people outside of our social media. We work as a team in both of our spheres. But again, the majority is focused on that. But I also know that I want to grow outside of my sphere, and I think social media is a great way to leverage that. But it's a lot of, storytelling and kind of like what a day is like in the life of a real estate agent. It's not just sharing, just listed, sold, that type of thing. People want to know just different things like they were talking about with mortgage rates and what's going on in the industry in general. So different things around Memphis to highlight. And seasonally, there's so many different things that you can do. But my biggest advice is just to get out there and do social media, because it will open so many doors and so many conversations we have. Leanna and I both, my partner, when we're out in public or talking to different people, they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I saw that you're doing your social media and you're doing a great job with that. And thanks for that information." So, people really do watch, even if you think they don't. Just keep going, because the biggest thing too is consistency. We have the opportunity every day in this business. We're 1099 employees, and we can get up and get out of bed and work the business. And that's what's going to help you grow and make sure that you are keeping that piece of social media relevant every day. Something that you can do every single day, post your stories, do some kind of storytelling. And I think when people get to know you on a personal level, it helps them trust, and want to do business with you, because so much of what we do is relationships, and we have to make people feel comfortable to know us to get to do that.
And a lot of the things that Lauren did right out of the gate is she would just ask agents, and you tour a ton of properties, and then you would talk about, I know you would show your signs and you would do all of that, but a day in the life of the real estate agent you showed and showcased often. And y'all are well on your way. You're already, how many units did y'all do last year?
We did like 9 units last year.
Last year,
almost $5 million.
Almost $5 million, and just working that network, and you're not paying for any leads.
Right, that's true. And I will say, just like Sarah said, on those broker opens, I would go and do those, and then we would do like Friday finds. We would each pick 3 houses that we loved, and we would post those, and people would say, "Hey, you know what? I want to go see one of those houses." And I'll tell you, one of our clients from last year, she actually works at my husband's law firm, and I know her, from a relationship standpoint, but she saw one of Meredith's listings that I did a walkthrough, and she was like, "You know what? I want to come over and see that house." We ended up selling her house in Chickasaw Gardens, and then sold her a house in Red Acres. So, it was a win-win situation, because she saw that we were out there doing the things, knowing we were working our business, and she decided to trust us on her real estate journey. So
really proud of y'all. That is awesome. So if y'all give a round of applause to Lauren and Leanna.
thank you.
And I know we have another speaker coming on, so if I need to cut our panel short, but I'm also going to highlight Parker, Elliott, Adam Kalin's in the room as well. I had a conversation with him last night. I just want y'all to know we were looking up numbers. I called you, Adam, and I said you're up 48%. Okay, I'm just going to go say that number again. 48% in a real estate market. Yeah. That is down. Is incredible. And so we talked at length about future-proofing the business model, and we talked a lot about, I know you have, Jeff, and you have a design business, right? And then you've essentially packaged that with concierge services for your residential real estate business. And so how can you provide value adds to future proof the transaction, right? And so we talked a length. I think you had mentioned several things that I think is important. Number one, do you have a list of vendors that you can get as much business to, that then you can get fast service and better deals because you're providing them with so much business? Yes. Were you able to say something? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand. So if you do that, then you already have all of these people on calls, and then you're able to service the consumer inside the transaction or outside of the transaction, which is exactly what the consumer said they wanted. I know you have told me you'll go in there and you'll organize for them. You organize their cabinets. You'll get their cabinets cleaned out for them. You've even rented a U-Haul for somebody and helped move stuff out alongside of them, showing them that you're not about the transaction, but you're about the service and the transaction. So I do think having a concierge style business is important. You can provide additional services. You can do different fees and charges if you so choose to. But what Adam is doing and what Jeff is doing is they've decided, hey, we're just going to provide, this is our fees of service, but this is going to be the value adds that we're providing. And then you're getting referrals left and right because of it. And that is also why his business is up 48%. So being able, I want to tell one more story. I think this is incredible. And I don't know if anybody's doing this currently. So he had a client that was a little nervous about the inspection report. So instead of sending the report to them first, Adam got on the phone and called all of those vendors that he already knows and said, hey, give me an estimate, just a general estimate. And because of the relationship, he was able to get that estimate very quickly. So then he had all of that written on a spreadsheet and then called the client and was able to have a data-driven information and not an emotional-driven conversation to then help them work through and put them at ease. So what I think we often try to do as residential real estate agents is we blow through the transaction, and instead of creating and solving problems, we start to add more stress to the situation. So, and I know we were talking about this, but inside the transaction and outside of the transaction, they're providing that type of concierge service and design service, which is clearly what the client wants. So if you don't have a vendor list, please go get one. If you can negotiate with your vendors, if you use them often, you can negotiate them for cheaper rates. And if they're not fast enough, then you can go find somebody else that's going to be a little bit quicker, right? Which is where home management comes into play, which is at the very end of it is redefining success beyond the transaction. This is where you get around search. This is where you maintain the relationship. How can you automate home appreciation report, home equity reports, and vendors all in one portal? And then the goal is to get the consumer to actually log into that so that you can make calls. There is, I don't know if anybody in here is marketing or advertising based, but when you send out an email campaign, what's a typical click-through rate for an email campaign? Percentage-wise, Scott? What? 17%. Y'all want to know what it is for home equity reports? 80%. You get to decide. You don't have to do it. Keep doing your newsletters. That's fine at your 17% click-through, but I want to get my 80% click-through, right? Because then I'm able to do exactly what Larry was saying, have a conversation about wealth building and rates and refinances and like, hey, what are we going to do with this equity and what are we going to do to build your portfolio? And understand that in the age of technology, data is king, and I know you'll hear me say this all the time, and it gets old, but now they're able to skip trace. So you come through my open house and I have one piece of data. I can run it through a skip tracing software and I can find out where Meredith lives, how much equity she has in the home currently. And now I've got her phone number as well. And it'll also tell me if she's on the do not call list. A little scary. But there's skip tracing that we have access to currently. And there's also a thing called predictive analytics. We'll then put a score on you, Miss Meredith, and tell me how likely you are to buy or sell or purchase another property. So you can use the technology to your advantage. And I think the numbers sell themselves. It's 80% click-through rate versus 17%. And how do we continue to provide value outside of search so that we can serve as wealth advisors? So all that to say is I believe, and this is Go Management's mission, and I totally am in alignment with this. This is where it's going. Like, what does the consumer want? How can we craft a visionary brand? How can I continue to serve the relationship outside of just the transaction and acting as a functionary? How can I leverage the digital frontier? And how can I future-proof my business model, right? And so as we go into this new age, which we're already here with technology rapidly increasing, I want y'all to think about what is one of these items. My word of the year is simplify. I don't want you to do every single thing here. I want you to pick one for quarter one and do that thing. And then if you're like, hey, I'm interested in leveraging Digital Frontier, you got Lauren right here, and I know she'd be more than happy to put together a group for y'all to understand what she's doing. She's done that for me as well. If it is, hey, I want to craft a visionary brand, I know Teresa or Colette would be happy to help. So we have people and resources, but I would encourage you, stop doing the business the way that you've always done it. Well, I don't say that. You can do the business the way you've always done it, and then you can be irrelevant in 5 years. No, I mean, I hate to say it, it's just how it's where it's going. And so those of you who has increased their business this year, highly focused, consistent, adaptable, a lot of new folks, right? A lot of newbies because they are taking the technology and making it work for them. So, all right, we've got our next speaker on, I believe, is Scott Toombs, is the most incredible bold coach of all time. Meredith can attest to this. We go and find him, just so everybody knows, at every family reunion and every mega camp, and we sit there and stare at him for an hour with coffee and ask him when he's coming back to Memphis. And it's finally worked 5 years later. Scott, we are thrilled to have you and so excited to have you at Memphis.
Well, Sarah, first of all, I've had the greatest time listening on your call because either you're a genius or you listen to a lot of great people, and I'm going to go with genius. So I appreciate it. I'm always I'm always super excited to be in Memphis, and yeah, it has been a while, and I'm super excited. And I'll be quick today. You've hit on so much great stuff, and I think it ties into what Onward Bold is and what's really different about it. I'm going to talk to you guys as if we're in the room together. I know we're not. I know I'm in Kentucky, you're in Memphis, and yet I want to talk to you just like I'm in the room. So I'm going to ask you some questions. You don't have to participate out loud, but if you could participate with yourself, I think you'll get a lot of value out of our short time that we have together today. Let me ask you, how many of you, and Sarah just brought this up, feel like that you have more potential within you? Okay, at a cellular level, you know that your results now are not what they could be. Well, I feel that way. I feel like every single person out there has more potential in them, more potential. And Gary Keller taught me a formula. And if you walk away with nothing else from our short time together today, with just this, I think it'll bring value to you. So I want you to write this down. Mindset plus action equals outcome. Mindset plus action equals outcome. Okay. Now, I can't see your hands, but you can raise your hand. You can put it in the chat, whatever you want to do. How many of you have a goal for 2026 that is greater than your actual in 2025? How many of you have a goal in 2026 that is greater than your actual in 2025? So what I hear is nobody wants to make less money. Nobody wants to gain weight. Nobody wants to lose wealth or lose friends. I think it's really natural to set goals that continue to grow. But if you go back to this formula, what we are always seeking is a different outcome. We put the focus on the outcome instead of on what makes the outcome different. And here's what's interesting. You have a habitual mindset and a habitual action. I'll give you an example. And again, if you're in a room with people, I want you to raise your hands regardless. But how many of you brushed your teeth this morning? Now, did you get up and have to argue with yourself? Were you uncomfortable brushing your teeth, or did you get up out of habit and brush your teeth? And hopefully the night before you brushed your teeth out of habit. Those are good habits. But if you wanted to lose a tooth, or if you didn't like one tooth, all you have to do is stop brushing it and it'll go away. The habits that we have now are what got us to where we are today. And some of us are probably going, oh my gosh, my habits rock. And others of us are going, oh my goodness, my habits aren't where I need them to be. And to me, that's exactly why Gary wrote Onward Bold. And remember, this is Gary Keller's Bold. It is completely different than what Bold's been. When I say completely different, let me restretch that. It's 96% different, but it's through Gary's words. So we're going to go through the 10 truths. Social media is in every single step of Bold. We talk about branding ourselves. We look for ways to engage our database and attract people to us. And yes, we're going to learn conversations because at some point you're going to have those conversations with people. But what Bold really does is it helps you think differently. It gives you the skill to take different action, and it brings what most things don't bring, and that's accountability. So we're going to hold you accountable to the actions so that you create those new habits. Because here's what I know. If we don't change what we think and what we do, we should stop changing our goals, because all we're doing is setting ourselves up for failure. That's it. That's what we end up doing. So my challenge for you is this. If nothing changes in 2026, would you be okay with that? Would you go, man, I'm absolutely astonished. Nothing changed. Here's what you have to be cautious of. And Gary Keller's taught us this for years. If you don't change, it doesn't mean that other things aren't changing. If you make the same amount of money in 2026 that you did in 2025, it's less money because of inflation. You have to grow to stay neutral. You have to grow to stay neutral. So if nothing changes, what changes? If 2026 is going to be different for you, it will not be by accident. You won't be, 2026 is here, and not by accident will you succeed. It's because you're going to be intentional with it. And the reason why I bring this up, and I do believe that Onward Bold and what Gary has written might be one of the most impactful 6-week programs, not only to change your real estate business, but to change your wealth, your health, and literally your life, because that's what he wrote it for. Leadership is going to come to you over the next 5 weeks, and they're going to remind you that Bold's coming. They're going to share with you things if they want to, but here's what my dream is that when your leadership asks you, are you ready to take Bold? You simply say yes. Because in the end, this is your moment to stop negotiating with your potential, to stop hoping for change and start installing and bet everything on you. Because if not now, when are you going to make the change? How many of you know your why? Like, do you really know why you're doing this? I mean, did you get your real estate license not to sell real estate? Or did you get your real estate license with this dream of having a big life? And the reason why I've done this for 12 years, I'm an operating partner of Keller Williams Market Centers. I believe this stuff. People go, you drank the Kool-Aid. I'm like, I marinate in it. I soak in this stuff because it has changed my trajectory of my family's life. And what I desire for people is for your choices, for your family, is not to be based on what you can afford, but on the possibilities of living your best life possible. And if all we have to do is change our thinking and our actions, then it's possible for every single person. The one thing about real estate, the reason why I picked it, there was no talent. There's no real estate talent. You've never seen a baby and been like, that's a real estate agent. So I want you in here because I believe it's the best thing for you. Your leadership wants you in there. And I promise you, your leadership did not get up and go, give me one more thing to do today. I promise you, they're doing this because they know in the end, it's going to create a better business and a better life for you. So Sarah, that's what I wanted to share. I know it was quick and I yelled a lot and I didn't mean to, but I'm just really excited.
Well, I really appreciate you, and we cannot wait. I know that we've really worked hard to get you here, and I'm so thrilled to have you back in Memphis, and I know everybody's excited. Meredith, you want to say something? Meredith's going to give a personal pitch real quick.
Yeah, give it. That's awesome. Hear a lot of Merediths today.
Okay, so I took Bold before I sold a single house. No houses sold. And Scott Toombs was my coach. And I didn't know how much that would change my life, but I do stalk him down at every KW event because really, like, that experience was one of the best. And so none of us have done this Bold before. So I am already committed to Bold. And you will be so proud and happy with yourselves if you decide to commit to. Like, I can't tell you enough. Like, not every agent is created equal. Not every person is created equal, but Scott Toombs is the man. he will change your life. Come do bold with me. I'll be here every week. So let's do it together.
Oh, I love that. That's so great, Meredith. You're awesome. And I get it. A lot of times agents are like, all Sarah does is throw eye candy up. But I'm going to bring value too. Okay. And I wish it wasn't that funny, but apparently it was.
God, I cannot wait to get some more of your one-liners. Write those
Yeah, I know.
down in bold. No, I just want to touch on one more thing. Y'all,
Sure.
we have access to everybody's numbers throughout the entire city. And what I know is real estate agents that are new need money. And then the real estate that are not new, that are seasoned and crushing it, need what? Time. And then they need to protect their wealth. But you have to have time to be able to protect your wealth. And so that's why accountability is critical at all stages. And if you were to get in and actually listen and learn and grow together, it will help you to protect your time and your wealth and get you into business. So I'm thrilled to have him. Obviously, when we found out, we were really. Were you in that bold? Were you in that? Caleb was in that bold. Yeah, there were several people that were in that bold. So Scott, thank you so much. All right, we've got another panel coming up here. These folks have increased their business significantly in 2020. What are we now? 2025. And I'm going to ask them to come up, please. And I'm going to get some of these chairs of Caleb, Erica, Josh, Allie, and it sells on Zoom. And then Brennan Bynum. Y'all give them a round of applause. I'm going to give special shout out. I don't know where she went. Meredith Vesna asked that we had this panel specifically because I asked her what agents want to hear from. And she said, we want to hear from people that have increased their business. So if y'all have a panel that you would like us to host, please let us know and we're happy to do that. All right. I'm going to start with you, Erica. What is one thing you did differently in 2025 that attributes to your success?
I went after my niche. I stopped chasing leads and cold calls, and I went with what my spirit was, and that was the military. I'm retired. I did 21 years. So I wanted to stay in my community, and I just reached out, and I'm been 100% referral based. Basically, the entire time I basically took it on. I took it on at an elite level. I aligned myself with savvy lenders, a title company, and people that supported military, and it helped me build my brand. And now I have clients that trust me. So when people are transferring now to the area, it's basically, hey, reach out to Erica. She can get you closed.
How many families did you serve last year?
15.
15 families.
Yep.
You're 1 year in the business. And you work the network. Can you tell me just a little bit more about that? Like, what did you do? Reaching out to whom? People that you already served with, or how did you get more connections in that space?
Well, social media.
There you go.
I started advertising myself on social media, and it took one call, it took one family, and then that family. In Millington, it's basically a top-heavy command. So when one person comes in, it's like, hey, well, who did you work with? And I worked with Erica, and then I was able to brand. I did create something that is big with military when they come in. A lot of times we don't get our household goods in time. So I started doing red carpet giveaways, like giving out a TV or gift cards, because our household goods can take up to weeks or 30 days. So sometimes they don't have anything. So I would kind of listen to what they were waiting on. It might be a grill or something. And that was something special for me because that was something that I would have wanted when I was doing those transfers the years that I were in.
I'm going to ask you one more thing just because I know you on a personal level. Life was lifing.
Life was life.
And you kept going. And I'm incredibly proud of you. You and I've had a lot of talks, and you kept moving forward and you crushed it. And I'm so proud of you because you could have stopped.
Yeah. And on that note, I almost lost my mom. And thank you so much.
Really proud of you. All right, Miss Allie, y'all have obviously grown your business, and it's been phenomenal year. I saw the Clark team numbers. Y'all served how many families?
About 140.
140 families. Y'all give them a round of applause. It's incredible. All right, what would you say attributed to that success this year?
So I think what everybody has said already today, and I too was in that bold, and yeah, and hadn't sold. Where did Meredith go? Hadn't sold, didn't have a client, a house, a buyer, a seller. I had nothing at that bold. And so I think to continue doing that, the main thing you have to do is show up. That year, I told people I showed up. I didn't even have to do well. You just have to show up. So our word of the year this year for our team was value, and we searched for value in surrounding us and each other and our clients and ourselves, and the ability to tell people and show people what that value was, to share our value, be grateful for value. At our meetings, we all had to say what we valued. So I say show up, and know your value and appreciate value. Both of those, we use the word both ways.
I think that's important for y'all to take note, like reminding yourself of, what you value and what you think others would value from you. I love that. That is awesome. Congratulations on the stellar year. That is awesome. Caleb, tell me what attributed to your success in 2025?
First off, I want to say Scott Toombs was awesome. So all y'all need to be there for that. Seriously. The number one difference for me was I stopped chasing down paid leads. I stopped paid leads altogether and put that money into my sphere and marketing to them.
How consistently do you market to them? Because you've had
several times a month.
Yeah. And you are, I would say already, I would put you in the bucket as a wealth advisor.
Yeah.
Because you're managing portfolios.
Yep.
Wouldn't you say that? I mean, it's
No,
fair.
yeah.
When he's putting up properties, it's typically not just one. It's like packages, and you've got portfolio. I mean, it's pretty incredible at the amount of listings you have. I mean, you're dominating that space. So I think if that is your lane, which it should be regardless, even if somebody's just buying one property, I mean, how did you get into that space?
Sphere
of influence.
Yeah.
Awesome. How long have you been in the business?
This is my 10th year.
And how many families did you serve this year? Or investors?
Actually, over 50.
Over 50. So give him a round of applause. That's awesome as well. All right, Brennan. You've been in the business now, what, a year? It's been like a year.
This is my 6th year.
6 years?
Time.
But
this is my first full-time year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I was like thinking you're the rookie of the year.
No.
All right, tell me a little bit about how many families did you serve?
57.
57. And you set out to do how many?
24.
Yep. And that's, I mean, you essentially said when you and I talked that you just wanted to replace the income that you were currently making.
Correct.
How did you do it?
By using a CRM. That helps a ton. I didn't use one until halfway through this past year. And also just by going full time, it gave me more time to do lead gen and just everything like that is the main reasons why I'm here today. Plus MAPS coaching. That was a huge help.
Tell me about that.
You get once a week with I do with Misty Herring. She's been amazing. She helps me with my financial stuff and with like what lead sources I should use and different things like that. It's very helpful. And somebody else to review your business.
Yeah, you have somebody. Here's the thing, you can only hold yourself accountable, right? Somebody can help you hold yourself accountable, but if you're not willing to hold yourself accountable, it's going to be hard to be coached, right? And you were like that from the beginning. And even you were coming into Dills and Donuts at the very start when they first started it. So y'all, there's simplicity in the success. It's just pick a lane.
Consistency.
Anything else y'all want to add? I know I've got Itzel on here too. Itzel, can you hear us?
I'm here.
Hi. How
Hi.
are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. So can you tell me one thing you did differently in 2025?
I logged in. I felt like whenever I was at the office, I used to do everything except log in, just, check as much as I could, my to-do list and everything. So I go a lot by to-do list, and I feel like I went a lot by that more than than what I used to do. I just used to take it one day at a whatever took the they threw at me, and now I'm like time blocking more. So I love how I time block, and it helps me a lot.
Hey, you said you walked in or you locked in?
Locked in and blocked in.
Locked in. Hey, so tell me, because she runs a machine. How many families did you serve?
185.
185. Hey, tell me. So, if anybody wants to see this operations in action, come sit in the lobby on what days? What days do you have? You have an incredible system around buyer consultations. They come to you, right? And you
Yeah.
block how many hours?
It's usually 1 of 4 that we have buyer consults, and that's the time we have them usually. Right now they're pretty slow. We're trying to do more advertising and get them to ramp up more. But Renee's the one doing those right now for me. As you hear, a little 1-year-old chipmunk climbing everywhere right now. So Renee's the one that's helping me with the buyer intakes. But Renee's usually there from 1 to 4.
So her buyer consult, she calls them buyer intakes. She blocks 1 to 4. They come to her and boom, 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 boom. She goes through it, and then she has a incredible operating system. And you are also all over social media as well.
Yeah,
right?
social media is a big thing for us. We post a minimum of 3 times a week. And I also try to talk more about personal life. I do a lot of like cooking stuff when I cook, when I'm out with family and the kids and all of that. So yes, definitely post more personal than business. People really love that.
Awesome job. Anything else y'all want to add to this before we go?
Well, thank you for doing this.
Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you all. Thank y'all so much. Congratulations on a stellar year. That's awesome. Thank you. All right. We are going to talk about some wins. So if you are new in the market, and quite frankly, if you're seasoned, I just need y'all to understand the trends and the numbers do not lie. We outpace the associations. And if you look at us per brokerage office, we're getting with our attorney to make sure that we can make a statement in town and not get a letter in the mail, as that's really happened before. I'm going to go ahead and get that going with Leslie so that we can actually show everybody who we are, and we actually are #1 in market share in most of our offices. Yes, it's incredible. So currently we've got 2,800 families served. We had 890 million in closed volume as an organization. 128 agents chose Keller Williams Home. 2,049 listings taken. We had 25 million in GCI paid out to our agents, and we have 438 agents currently growing, which is incredible. So if anybody asks, if you're new or even if you're a seasoned agent, our company sold over 890 million in closed volume. Nobody else is saying that. So that's an incredible number attributed to all of y'all and all your hard work. So congratulations. And I love that GCI number because that means that's changing y'all's life. So what you can expect, my word of the year for the office is simplify. How can we take all the noise and the things that are going on and streamline it? So this may not seem like we're simplifying. However, one other thing that I think is important is locking in, leaning in, and building culture and community. And it's hard to do it on Zoom. I'm doing it every morning. And it's been fun on our Win the Morning. I don't know who all's on there, but it's a fun call in the morning from 8:15 to 8:30. Then we have lead generation as well right after that. And then we also have in-office lead generation. Every week, the cadence for communication and panels and this type of content that's a little bit longer is going to be at our team meetings every single week. So we are going to do a team meeting every single week. Those of you that are in Mississippi, if you don't want to drive here, let's look at a location that we could do so y'all can gather and do a Zoom there as well. If y'all want to do that, I'm down for that. I'm just asking that we come in and we fellowship together, okay? All that to say is we got that going, and then after that is going to be the broker opens. And I would like the broker opens to happen on Tuesday. Those broker opens need to run from noon to 2. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you will have, the office has said that they'll invest in helping you market it on Zip flyers. Yes. On Zipper flyer, we're going to do that, but you have to submit those listings, those broker open listings to us the Friday before Thursday by 5. So don't yell at us if you did not submit it by Thursday at 5. Okay, so that is the standard. You submit it by Thursday by 5. We'll do Zip My Flyer or Zip Your Flyer, or whatever we call that thing, and it'll send it out to all the brokerages, and the office is going to pay for it on your behalf. And then From there, we'll do broker tours after the team meetings. You are going to get, instead of emails from the office, you're doing weekly emails. And then we do have recaps for Win the Morning. On our weekly broker opens, we talked about that, and business financials. Here's what I've learned. If there is a gap in understanding P&Ls, can everybody, I think everybody could grow and learn in P&L. Would everybody agree, including myself? And I read them a lot. But all that to say is we can't do a business planning clinic if you don't know how to run and read a P&L. So Leslie has offered, she is brilliant, y'all, at Agent Financials and understanding the flow of money. So she has offered to do a business financial class on the 4th Thursday of the month. Please don't run from it. Lean into it, because most of y'all, including me, we all wait until what season? Tax season, to then submit for our taxes, and that's when we decide to look at our P&L. You cannot strategize. When do most wealthy people look at their business P&L? Towards the end of the year. Why? So yes, you can plan with your CPA what you need to purchase for tax write-offs. Okay, so we've got to get in a cadence of doing that. I've heard a lot of agents recently tell me they did not prepare for business taxes. They prepared for personal taxes, but business taxes. We've got to make sure that we've created a plan around that. So we're going to do that on the 4th Thursday of the month. Keep going. I'm also going to ask, can you have all of our ALC come to the front? I'd love for you to introduce yourself and talk a little bit how many years you've been in the business and your willingness to serve. Please come to the front.
I'm going to give you guys a mic. Do like 30-second pitch, who you are, what your group is, and then they are going to kind of talk about their committees afterwards. So we love you guys to join, but we are running low on time. So you're first because you're in front of me. Who you are.
I'm Philip. I've been here. This is my 3rd year. I try to come every day, Sarah. I try. Yeah.
All right, I'm Courtney Staples, and I've been in business for 9 years.
Hi, it's Arnika Bush. I'm of the culture committee, and I've been in business.
Tamara Davenport. I'm going into my 4th year in 2026.
Good afternoon. I'm Clarenda Hurd, and I've been in the business 4.5 years.
I'm Alan Nason, and I've been in the business for 13 years.
Say this real quick. Y'all give them a round of applause. Y'all, all the people, everybody that was on the ALC last year, they increased their business. Because they actually came together, strategized together, and held each other accountable. And while y'all served and y'all gave so well, and I know you did a lot to pour back into our agents, all of y'all do. Thank you for that, and you grew your businesses, and that makes me so happy. So congratulations on all of y'all's hard work and efforts. We really appreciate you. Yes. Yeah. All right. This is where I'm going to fail. Kim Flournoy, please come to the front. Kim is our sponsor today. And I was going to say American Home Shield, but I always think front steps, front door. But it's American Home Shield. Y'all, this is a local company. You didn't even know we have a home warranty company in our backyard. I'm so excited for you, and I love having you back. And she is going to be a rock star in the home warranty space. Go.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I am so excited to see you guys, and it has been pretty cool to know that I get to be at the State of the Company meeting with all of you guys. I love the skirt. Sorry. I got a call from Katie A. Bart, who you'll meet soon. Also a sponsor for today. And she said, Kim, I know you're not looking for anything, but I need you to take this call. And I was like, okay. Home warranty? I don't know. Took the call. Fred Spano said 2 things at that call. The first one was, what I found is most people don't know how to utilize their home warranties to the highest level to get the most money back. to use it, use it, use it. And the second thing he said is agents have almost 200 things, and y'all know this, right? Almost 200 things that you are responsible for. And if we can get in there and help them and support them and be true partners, that's all I want. So American Home Shield, born here, it's a 50-year-old company. We have not had a local rep for 5 years. So that's why you don't see us. And now you're going to see us a lot. So thank you for your time. I would love for you to try our products. I'd love for you to call me. I know you have your people that you've probably been working with for years, but we have some really state-of-the-art things that are happening in the warranty space that are going to serve the consumer at a high, high level. So thank y'all for letting us be here. And then I'll introduce Katie, who got me back to work.
Hi, everybody. How are y'all? See lots of familiar faces and also some new faces. My name is Katie Abart. I am with Shoemaker Insurance Solutions. And funny enough, Kim actually got me my job 3 years ago. So we returned favor, I guess. But she's amazing. I know that y'all know that. Also, American Home Shield, amazing company. My husband works very closely with them as well. So I know she's going to kill it over there. But just a few things about the insurance space, kind of like the real estate market and the mortgage market. It's been kind of crazy the past 3 years. Things are kind of starting to level out a little bit. We've had lots of rate decreases this past year in 2025. So coming into an exciting and promising 2026 for our clients. I am an independent agent. So what that means is that I have access to many different carriers, insurance carriers that are all A+ with all of the rating systems as well as the reporting systems that are for insurance. So you know your clients are going to get some of the best products out there. But what we are going to be doing is we look and find the most competitive rates for your clients to be able to get them to the closing table quicker and also as at a lower amount. So I definitely recommend referring to a captive agency, which is more like a State Farm or an Allstate. They only offer that one product, but also put into your pipeline an independent agent as well. And that way we are able to shop that insurance for you. I have 2 account managers on my team. So we have about a 24-hour turnaround and being able to get quotes back to people in a timely manner. Like I said, the rates have decreased this year, which is exciting. A couple of things as far as underwriting is concerned. Those roofs, they are still looking at wanting 10-year-old roofs to be able to, for replacement costs, anything older than 10 years is starting to go to a actual cash value. But underwriting has definitely loosened a lot, definitely not like it has been the past few years. So if y'all have any business, I would love the opportunity to be able to earn it and send it my way. I'm going to have some of my brochures up over here by the lunch, and it's great to see everybody.
Y'all do every Sunday?
It is on
Talk Money Radio?
I'm only on it once a month.
Okay, but Mr. Shoemaker runs it, right? And the financial advising side runs it.
Yes.
It's all done. So
Sarah's saying there's a podcast. You don't have the mic. A podcast called Talk Money? Money Radio. Yeah.
I think it's 98.9, I believe.
say what she is saying, and I want everybody to understand this, like our job is to save the consumer money. Right. And so if you put in your action plans in your drip campaigns, hey, I've got somebody that will, search insurance, plans and premiums and all of those things. And my hope is that you get more coverage and save money. Nobody's offering that either. And I know we've done that. I know you've done that with several agents. So if you're interested in doing it, you might as well learn and do it yourself. And you've saved some agents, I think, thousands of dollars. So while increasing the coverage. So it's important for y'all to use these services so that you can help keep money in the client's pockets. Same thing with the home warranty.
One more thing to add. I learned so much about home warranties after I started working with the company traditionally, right? But we had a leak in our bathroom. So we paid to fix the shower panel. That was $1,400 because I knew it's an insurance claim. Insurance didn't fix that. So then I call insurance to put in a claim. If I had a home warranty, the home warranty would have saved me at least $1,000. So if you're looking at that piece of it, use them in tandem so that it helps save your consumer. And most agents aren't aware of that. So the more you can educate and provide true value and money in their pockets, the better.
And if you could track it, just like we're tracking numbers on Win the Morning, and I say, hey, on average, I saved the client $2,500 versus the average agent in town on concessions or on insurance or on home warranties, then you're coming at them with real value because it's actual number. So
And a lot of people think that if they've been with their insurance company for 10, 15, 20 years plus, that they're saving money. Actually, it's more expensive. The people who've been with a certain company for 30 years and they come to me, most of the time I'm saving them over $1,000 every single time. So just, I recommend shopping your insurance every 3 to 4 years. And I would, for you, recommend your clients to do the same thing. So if they come and say, oh, well, I've been with my provider for 30 years, that's amazing. And I love that you have that relationship with them. But I want to be here to be able to help save you money and go into this new home with maybe a little bit more extra money than you were even expecting. So why don't you shop your insurance too?
all right, y'all give them a round of applause, please. As we wrap up the year, wrap up 2025 with some incredible numbers and move into 2026, I know we've got new forms updated and changes, and I'm going to bring Wheezy up here. And then we can obviously go get lunch. Mississippi, your forms are not out yet. So just to be clear, they're not out yet. But I want to say this. Please make sure, y'all, we have a room full of faces that are new and you may not know somebody. Please take a moment and introduce yourself. As my preacher says at church, he says, shake hands with 5 people before you leave. So maybe you're not a handshaker or a hugger, but please introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are so that we can continue to build a community as we grow. So, Wheezy, I'm going to hand it over to you for forms.
Hey. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the boring stuff real quick first, and then I'm going to get into something that's important. Look, y'all don't know me that well because I don't let people know me really. So when I say something, I don't say a lot, but when I do say things, they're intentional. Or when I do things, they're intentional. So nothing gets me fired up more than bad agents. Okay? So let's just talk about forms real quick. Leslie's pulling up forms. If you'll go to under members and then fly. Yeah, you have to. And then y'all can find this too. Can you hear me online? Okay. Woo. All right. So if you'll go to here and then it'll open up. And then click on that. Sorry. Yeah, if you'll scroll down. All right. So there weren't a lot of changes to our purchase and sale agreement, which is awesome. The biggest change really was to the buyer rep agreement. All that stuff that y'all see there that y'all never filled out for Tennessee about like what you do in a buyer consultation, like what are they looking for, what price range, how many beds, how many baths. No one ever filled it in anyway, so they took it out. All right, so now you don't have to. All right, so if you'll keep going, we have a new form this year. They created a brand new form. You'll find it in a minute. Go through the purchase and sale. Keep going. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, go through all that. There's 11 pages of that one. And then you'll see one that's totally new. It's all in blue. All right, y'all can find this at tnrealtors.com. Under Forms on the Fly, it'll give you the changes. All the forms are uploaded into DocuSign and into Transaction Desk. If you have templates saved, do not use them. Please use the most current versions of the contracts. This is very important to protect you and the client. Yeah. There should be a new one. There's a new one in there. All right. Yay. Compensation Addendum Amendment. So this is new. Mississippi has this in their contract that Tennessee never did. So if you have more than one party paying you at the closing table, we now have this. It shows that who's paying what. So if you have a buyer and a seller both paying you, instead of making sure you send that buyer rep agreement into the lender, you can use this now. So scroll down to the signatures if you don't mind. So buyer and seller sign this. You don't. So it's just a disclosure, basically, but it's an amendment and it's showing how you're being paid. Are y'all good with that? Okay, cool. All right, so forms. Yes.
On every
Do you use this form on every single transaction to disclose?
No. So you can use this as in addition to if you're not writing it in the contract, or if you get countered that the seller is only going to pay you 1 or 2%, but then your buyer is going to pay you. You can use this. So that way it's all out in the open. We good? Okay. So those are the basic new changes. So nothing earth shattering. All right. So what I want to I do want to talk about, I'm going to crack down on forms. I do most of the compliance. I do every office. I do every one except for Matt's agents. Y'all think about that. I sit down every night except for Friday and Saturday. After I leave the office or leave whatever I'm doing and I go home, if y'all check y'all might get an email at midnight because I'm up doing your compliance. So it makes me angry. Not really, not angry, but it upsets me that y'all aren't doing better. It seems like everyone just gets worse. And and if you think it's not you, you're wrong. I'm telling you, you're wrong. All right. And then you wait until it's already closed a week later, then you send in your documents and they're wrong. And then you say, well, I can't get that signed because I'm not talking to that buyer anymore. I can't get that signed because that seller moved away. Okay. The reason I'm going to crack down on this, and Don can say the same thing and so can Matt, we are seeing more and more arbitration. I'm telling you, it's all the time now. We're getting complaints. I get complaints. I've got one yesterday. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So it's happening. Get your documents shored up. I mean, get them tightened up. It's hard for you to go back and get something done. Or if you go in and change it yourself and don't get an initial on a buyer rep agreement, you put nothing in that buyer rep agreement so you don't get paid. And then I send it back and say, you and the buyer need to amend this so you can get that bonus or you can get that. And then all you do is change it and send it back in. No more. Because if we have to go to arbitration over that, and then the buyer or seller only has that one form that has 0 in it, or 1 or 2, or doesn't have a bonus, and then you write it in and send it back in, what do you think how that's going to look? You're not going to win. So I know Matt has something to say too. Look. So what Matt was saying was that if you have all your documents, everything's been DocuSigned or electronic signatures, and then all of a sudden you have one document that's hand signature, it's going to stand out like a red flag. And that happened this past year. So when we sit up here and tell you stories or we send stuff back, it's not just because I love sending it back and then having to look at it again. And then when it's still not right, I have to look at it again. Y'all, really, I look at every single thing every single night. So, Matt, well, Don gets the phone calls. Okay, so I'm going to start cracking down on your lead-based paint. Lead-based paint, y'all, it changed last year. Sellers have 2 places to initial or check mark. Buyers have 2 places now. It's not just yes or no. I'm sending those back. And I know what y'all are doing. You're going in there and doing a little check mark and send it back in. Get it done on the front end. Quit having to do this. Okay, the FHA form. A lot of you don't even put them in there. I've been pretty lenient about that because the lender can't do a loan without an FHA addendum. Put in the amount that was actually agreed to, not the counter, not the original amount. Put in the countered amount. Put in an amount. I did one last night. I let it go because they didn't have an amount in it. I just let it go. But I'm tired of letting it go. Okay. Amendments and addenda. counters. They're numbered. So I send you back. I only see one counter offer, and it's number 3. Where's number 1 and 2? Then you load those, and they aren't signed by the last person. I'm sending it back. Amendments. Had somebody send in one that had amendment number 2. Where's 1? Oh, well, that was really number 1. That really wasn't number 2. It was really number 1. Well, go in there and change it. Get everyone to initial it. Get it done on the front end. Y'all, I'm just so sick of this. Okay, this is not rocket science. Okay, repair amendments. It says they're conditional. They're only conditional if there was no inspection contingency. If you had an inspection contingency in that contract, it must be removed in writing, period. End of story. Don't send me, we didn't have one because we didn't do repairs. Well, how am I supposed to know? Y'all have got to do this like y'all die today. And I have to pick it up, or Matt or Don has to pick this up and run with it. How are we supposed to know what happened? Y'all got to, like Sarah said earlier, you got to start thinking like attorneys. You've got to do this. I'm almost done, y'all, but I'm not tired. I'm not done complaining for a minute. All right. Command. I've asked y'all to put in the opportunity and make the opportunity name the address. Command finally gave me a beautiful thing. They are now allowing me to change it. So if you get back your opportunities and they now have an address on them, you're welcome. You're welcome. You'll get paid faster. Now, I don't get paid faster, but you will. So save me that trouble. All right. But I'm serious about arbitration. We're seeing it all the time. Everyone's so happy over these buyer rep agreements. It's happening. Get them signed. Keep them. Get them done properly. Okay. You just can't wing this business anymore. Y'all heard that all day, right? The consumer knows more than we do about the house they're looking for, probably. You just can't wing it. When I got in the business 23 years ago, boy, you faked it till you made it because they didn't have that information. You can't do that anymore. Y'all have got to up your level. You've got to be more professional. Okay, I'm going to talk about another thing. So MLS notices. MAR sent us a bill October 15th. MAR then puts it on the front of their MLS when you log in. MAR then puts it on Facebook Reels. MAR then puts it on Instagram. MAR then sends you another email. Don't tell me you didn't know. I have a little sympathy, but not a whole lot. I got mine paid, but I waited till December 15th. I wait till the very last minute. But then we have about 80 people that did not pay. And then on Friday, they start calling everybody. They're dead for the weekend because MAR waits until Friday at 5 o'clock to shut people off. Whose fault is that? It's not our fault. When your license expires, whose fault is that? You wait on all of us at the office to tell you something. I'm just tired. This year is going to be different, y'all. It's called accountability. All right. Now, let's talk about reputation. We talked about that a lot today, right? Okay. So who you are outside of here, don't you think that follows you? Really? So if you're on Facebook or Insta and you do some things that just aren't so kosher, do you not think that represents all of us? If you don't think it does, you're wrong. So I got a complaint yesterday from Trek and then all these screenshots back and forth on Facebook, Snapchat, I don't know where it was, but it was nothing but vulgar language to each other. And then one of them says, "You work at Keller Williams, don't you?" And said, "I wonder if they would love to hear about it." That had nothing to do with us. Not one thing. Nothing on that it was all personal. But now Track is involved. because that person out there knew that they had a license. So now I have to answer a complaint. So does that agent. If we don't, there's a $1,000 fine over a Snapchat and some stupid stuff. So y'all, this is real stuff. We all treat this like we're just, whoop-a-doo, going through life. Let's sell a house, love showing houses, get into the transaction. No more. This is some serious stuff that we're doing here. And everyone is definitely so happy. So, especially agents. So, on a lighter note, thank all of y'all for doing your compliance correctly. And I will say that y'all do a lot, but Brennan Bynum right here, this first time I've seen your face. He has sent in so many contracts and compliance. We have had so many discussions over the phone and text about compliance, but he is killing it. I mean, all of a sudden, it just, boom, who is this fella? So, but anyway, y'all are doing great. Thank y'all. And please do better this year. Be accountable, especially in your documents. Get them done before. Yeah, please check them. I know y'all don't check them. They come in with no signatures. They come in blank. Y'all, I just love doing compliance. So while all y'all are eating dinner with your family and doing things with your kids, I'm sitting on my couch, disconnected from everything else in my household, doing compliance. So y'all help me out. All right.
No, it's perfect. Thanks, Wheezy. Yeah. Pro tip in DocuSign, something I do if you don't yet, or if you're not good at your compliance, when you have the final piece of your project, right? The final purchase and sale agreement, the final counter, whatever needs to go there, rename it. That's the one you're going to submit to the office, and then archive everything else, or else you end up with a mess in there, and it makes it really hard for yourself when you're ready to submit it. So pro tip, do that for Wheezy's sake, and really for your sake, because it's annoying when you have to go back and you don't get paid, right? So anyways, y'all enjoy lunch. Let's go kill 2026, but thank you for coming, and we're so excited to see you guys. We're excited for a fun year.